what about an older woman with no kids? So she's older than you, got no
Mhm.
kids.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, here's the thing. So someone being older than you, and depending what your age is, and we're gonna say you're between 35 and 45, right?
Mhm.
You're around that age, you marry someone who's older than you. The first thing that you have to probably consider is she like in menopause, actively in menopause? Because that could have some intimacy issues between y'all. If
Mhm.
she has no kids and she's not in menopause, is she gonna be rushing you to have kids, right? And if it's right before menopause, to say you have to assess whether you can keep up because there's you might not be able to keep up,
Yeah.
so
And well, just to try to, keep it PG. And sometimes it could be an issue of, because a lot of times women they equate or they attach your desire for them to whether or not you care or love them at all or whatever.
yeah,
And sometimes if you have an older woman, just not might be feeling it like that. You might like her in general, and as far as just a day to day wife and activities, but as far as intimacy is concerned, you just might not be feeling it like that. It just
right,
it just is it's a reality that I think, some people just don't, necessarily want to touch on, but it's real. And so that's something that, could lead to a lot of frustration on both sides,
mm,
and so that's something that you got to look out for. But I think even this might be the worst of all the scenarios, the older woman with kids. Think about this. She older than you, right? Maybe you're listen, maybe you're 35, 40.
uh-huh,
She's, 50, 55 or whatever. She's got, 25-year-old daughter running around. Now your dad stepping. She got, a 22-year-old son that ain't working or whatever, but he's up in the house. I mean,
yeah,
and, you could try to son him a little bit, but he might be able to whoop you. So it's like, it's almost like you can't even get too mad at his mama because you
nah, you gotta give him the Ving Rhames. Wait,
on your ass. Yeah, you got to do the baby boy and sneak up on him.
yeah. You want your bummer nigga?
But yeah, I mean that might be the most dangerous one of all because you know
I would say
she probably riding for her kids. Still calling him baby. He's 30 years old with three kids of his own. But my baby.
yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
that's down there right with the younger with kids. Like you got to like if you have a choice between the two, it's like the lesser of which one's the lesser of two evils, right?
We could do a whole 2, 3 shows on that scenario. But what about the if you marry a woman who is a serious upgrade financially, right? You're making 40,000 a year, something like that. Average 50 grand a year, whatever.
Yeah.
And you marry someone who really is legit set. Maybe they're a trust fund baby. Maybe they inherited. Maybe their husband died and she inherited a bunch of money. She's stacked. She's rich, or she's way above your financial capability.